Hello and welcome to Screencast 26 for the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland Introduction to Vectorworks, and you'll be glad to know this is the final screencast in this playlist and the final task. So what I want you to do, you probably pause this for a second, is to make some 3D make 4 3D shapes, assemble them in some sort of stacking order, some sort of grouping like I've done on my screen here. Make them kind of round about a meter or so, just so we don't end up on different scales when you're following the screencast. So that one there's about a meter side to side, and the other ones sit within it, just roughly. And the next step, you might want to pause. The next step is to assign each object to its own layer. So I'm going to make 4 layers within the design layers here. So I can double click on the little thing at the top and it'll take me into the design layers here. So I'm going to make design layer 1 will be, I really should have checked what this was. I'm going to call it a septagon, which is the bottom object. And I'm just checking that the elevations are the same and the scales. So the scale should be the same and the elevation should be 0. Everything is 0. So there's a couple of ways of doing this. I'm going to do the first one. So that, again, I've got grey snap objects on. I want show snap modify others at the moment because I want to be able to move things into their layers. So I've created a layer there, septagon. I can click, select this 7-sided object, and then where it says layer, design layer 1, I can move it into the new septagon layer. Okay. Another way of doing it is if I click on an object and then where it says layer, design layer 1, I can click new design layer there and create the design. So that'll be a scoopy thing. Edit properties after creation. Yeah, I'm just going to check it's 1 to 25, stacking order, elevation is all fine. This one, I'm going to do the others the same way. So layer, that'll be a, call that a wedge. Again, it's worth just checking. That could be probably going to be okay now. 1 to 25 is fine. And top one, new design layer, ball. And all good. What I'm going to do now is rather than show, snap, modify others, I'm going to go active only, and I'm going to put a little tick next to each one. So that's the ball only, the wedge only, the scoopy thing only, the septagon only, and there's nothing in my design layer. That's fine. I can put that back to show, snap, others. So what we're going to do now is that's our modeling finished. I've already created a sheet layer called final task. So what we're going to do is I'm going to now send all these objects to the sheet layer, but I'm going to separate them out so that I can make technical drawings for each one on the same page. So we're going to start with the top plan, and I only really want to see I'm going to deal with the septagon first. I don't really need to have to do anything just now because I can sort it all out in the viewport. Don't make the mistake of switching things off here just now. It's nothing to do with this, remember. So I'm going to go View, Create Viewport. I'm going to call this one Septagon. Why did I do a septagon? Septagon top. And then we're going to choose the layers. I don't want to see the ball. I don't want to see the wedge. I don't want to see the scoopy thing. And I don't want to see design layer 1. I only want to see the septagon. Now, you don't have to do this for every single step. This is just separating out the septagon. This is because we can copy some of these viewports. So you can see what I've done there. I've created the viewport, and in the layers part of when it's the create viewport window, I've chosen the layers there. I could do it later on in the OIP, but I may as well do it here just now. Okay. And it's going to go on to the, I'm not going to use a drawing label. It's going to go on to sheet layer 1 final task. It's at the right scale, top plan, fine. So that's the first one. So that's, again, that's the backup thing. I don't want to back up. So though that's maybe a little bit big, let's maybe knock that scale down a bit. Let's make that 1 to 50 for that. Might have to change all of that. So there's our top plan. And same as before, I'm going to, and it's only showing the Septagon, even though back in the design layer again, if we go back to look at all the objects they're all still there. I haven't done anything with them. They're all, you can render them. See, it's all exactly the same. But in the sheet layer, tick, come on. In the sheet layer, we only see the Septagon because that's all that's been chosen within the layers. Again, OIP, Object Information Palette, we can just check there if we want to change anything. So I'm going to duplicate the viewport, and I'm going to change it from the front, just like I did with the treads, to from the top plan, sorry, to the front, just like I did with the treads, and I'm going to line it up. So these lines here are critically important. That line on the object is the same line as there. That line is the back line. That line is that. So these lines must line up, or else our technical drawing doesn't make sense. So that's the outside line. That's that line there. That's the rear line. We're seeing through that because it's a wireframe. And then I'll duplicate that and change that to a right view. Place it over to the right because it's slightly different, and we'll place it to the right of the front elevation. That's done. I can shortcut things again. I can either go back to the design layer and choose something else, or I can just duplicate the top plan here, but this time I don't want to see the Septagon. I can just choose in layers there. I can choose that I want to see, what was the Scoopy thing was the next one. So switch the Septagon off and only see the Scoopy thing. And there we go, you just see the top of the Scoopy thing. Duplicate that, change it to the front. Which is, put it underneath. And then duplicate that and change it to the right. I'm only doing the right instead of the right and left because they are the objects are symmetrical, so they're the same. The left view of this object would be exactly the same as the right view of the object, so it's okay. We've only got 2 more objects to do. Duplicate that. I'm going to take it over here, and we're going to have a look at the layers again. This time it was, don't want to see the Septagon, don't want to see the Scoopy thing, I've done that. So I want to see the wedge this time. So there's the top plan of the wedge. Duplicate, and that'll be the front of the wedge, which should look like that. And duplicate, and it will be the right of the wedge, which will look a lot like a square. Again, don't really need to do a left on this one either. Give it out. One more to do. I'll just go back on that because it's the top plan anyway. And the last object is the ball, which we won't need any sort of we only need one image of the ball because it's a ball. There we go. It's a sphere. So we now have 1, 2. Let's do another one. So we've got all the objects in the middle. So I'll move the ball into the middle and maybe change that one. Go back to layers. I want to see the whole object again. So it's all the things there, and we want to see our right isometric, and let's have it in shaded and update. Okay. So we can put the ball there. So we have it's a little bit fuzzy. We can go back and change. Well, no, I'll do it just now as well, rather than being lazy. Tools, organization, sheet layers, edit, put that up to 300. Okay, so that was what we did in the previous one, which was changing the DPI of the sheet there, the dots per inch. So that's nicer now. So what I need to do now is to dimension these annotations and make sure I'm only annotating the bits that I need to annotate, only dimensioning within the the particular viewport. The plan viewport should only have dimensions for the plan. So this one is going to have an angled dimension, I think, because that's good. That tells us all we need to know about that. The full width can be done in this one, annotation. So we can do the full width of the object here. Just making sure, did it again. Making sure that it's only that one. That's fine. And exit viewport. And this one here might be useful to have the extrusion depth annotations. That one, and we'll just zoom in on that, and there we go. So that's that one done. This one again here, again only the dimensions for the top plan of this object here, above there. We can do a height on the next one, I think. Annotations. Do a height there, and we'll maybe do a width as well. Well, no, it's exactly the same, isn't it? We don't need that one. We have that one already. What might be interesting on this one is to do a radial dimension. See if it'll do that. Nope, it won't. There's a little trick, so I'll show you a little trick while we do that. If it's not going to show the dimension there, then what we can do is just take the arc tool, start arc point, end point, and midpoint there. So we'll just draw that on there, and then we'll do the radial tool there, and then we can do a call out there. So that's given us the diameter of that. I mean, I guess we could have done 742, but it's given us that in a slightly different way, and a little cheat there. You can do the same kind of thing for that curve there if you like. The sphere, let's use the call out tool, which we haven't used before. So this one here, we'll choose, I'm just going to do a box thing, say it's sphere, and we can do a diameter for that, because they know it's a sphere. I've done that wrong. Annotations. And the diameter. So it was super quick to see that I'd done it wrong. I'm trying to rush here. That's that. A couple more to do. Here we will do, that's the plan, so that we can do the, nearly, you were waiting for me to do that, weren't you? Double click annotations. We can do the size of it there, that's fine. We can do the height of it in the front. Annotations. And that's the width we'll do in this one here. Should really learn the shortcut to that. There we go. I think that's all the information we need. So that's what I want from you. I want you to supply me with the Vectorworks file. I want you to make a compound object consisting of 4 3-dimensional objects, and then I want you to separate them all out on a piece of paper showing information about each object laid out in third angle projection, which would make sense for anybody constructing these objects and making them into that isometric shape there. That's the final task. If you can do that, then congratulations, you have the basics of Vectorworks and you should be able to move on. Have a look at the other screencasts which are in the channel, in the Vectorworks channel, which aren't part of this playlist but are doing more specific things. I tend to do screencasts when people ask me how to do something or forgotten how to do. There's some rigging stuff, there's more things in Christoph's Vectorworks lighting channel. I'll keep doing more and more things as we go through, and also open up and have a look at the venue plans. You know where they are now, they're on Teams, you have access to them, and have a rake around it and have a look and see how things are made. But if you can do this, then you are well on your way. If you can do this by the end of first term, then fantastic. You will be able to use the program as a really powerful tool throughout your time at uni. I hope you enjoyed these. I'm not sure if enjoyed is the right word, but I hope you got through them okay. And if there are any questions, please just ask. Thanks a lot. Thanks for sticking with me, and I'll see you face to face soon. Bye.